Hi, welcome back to another video, and in this one I wanted to look at something I've seen popping up in quite a few different places, from social media posts and comments through to various videos and forum posts, and that's around Project Cars 3 being an arcade title. And I wanted to look at this because whilst I've put plenty of videos out explaining my position on Project Cars 3 and why I think the physics work the way it does, the way it handles, and what's going on with regard to that. The one thing I'd never considered seriously was that it was an arcade handling title, whatever that actually means. It's a very debatable subject. So I thought I'd give it a quick back-to-back with something that I think most people do agree is an arcade racing title, and that's Grid. So what you've got here is, and I'll talk over this, is some side-by-side footage, in-car and replay of Grid and Project Cars 3. It's an R32 Skyline Group A at Brands Hatch, the full GP course. I've picked this car because, well, it's just a bloody ace car, that's why, nothing more than that. But I wanted to look at both of these together and really see how they stack up in terms of this. So I took the car out in Grid first of all, and it's been a while since I played Grid. It's actually a bit better than I remember, in all honesty. It looks pretty good. It sounds reasonable without a shadow of a doubt. It's a pain in the arse UI wise. I mean, trying to just set up a free run or time trial in it's just a ball ache, quite frankly. The cars are monumentally quick, they grip lots, and then they give you lots of tail-happy oversteering moments, but it's nice and easy to gather up, and you've got a surplus of grip just about everywhere. And it's got what I often consider to be the kind of like Hollywood film school of vehicle handling, in that it's grounded in reality, but it adds that Hollywood flair to it and just makes you feel great, quite frankly. But it's not particularly realistic, and it has a vague and tenuous link to reality in terms of physics overall. So it definitely falls into the arcade school of things. And switching over from that to Project Cars 3 it's quite interesting, because most of the back-to-backs I've done with Project Cars 3 up to this point have been coming arguably down. So with Project Cars 2, Assetto Corsa, etc., or around the same kind of level, Gran Turismo Sport and Project Cars 3. And I've not tried one where I'd come up from a pure arcade title. And this is where you start to appreciate what's going on with regard to Project Cars 3. Now, no, it's now, with the various levels of assists and filters and smoothing and everything else going on, it's not up there with the original Project Cars, or Project Cars 2 for that matter, or Assetto Corsa Competizione, etc. It's simply not. But it's also a long way from being a Grid. You've got to think a lot more about your braking points, you've got to think more about the car stability under braking, you've got much more accurate cornering speeds and gearing required. I mean, most of the corners in Grid you can take a full gear and the representative increase in speed higher than you can in Project Cars 3, and it's actually much closer to the corner gearing and the speed you'd be taking in reality. It's just far more forgiving when it goes wrong. So yeah, overall it's quite an interesting thing to do, and it does show that there's a lot of hyperboil out around Project Cars 3, and I can fully understand why people are pissed off about it. I really can. It was marketed as something it never was going to be. It was very confused and in its marketing, and that much is abundantly clear. That doesn't necessarily make it a bad game, it just makes it a very different game to the one that was advertised. But could I support the claim that it's an arcade title? Well, I have to be honest, no, I can't. But that may actually be its biggest problem, that it's kind of like stuck somewhere between. a pure arcade title like Grid, and full-blown sims such as the previous Project Cars titles, Assetto Corsa, etc. And it kind of exists in a no man's land where you've got to be really good, really polished, and really on your game to succeed. The likes of Forza, the likes of Gran Turismo, and that's where I think it lets itself down, because I just don't think it's a complete and polished enough package for it to succeed in that particular segment and in that area, because you're looking at an audience that's not going to have the patience to sit through and wait for the patches that you might expect for a full-blown sim, etc. And you can see this in the user numbers, and it is to a degree, unfortunately, already being abandoned quite heavily. Yeah, that's just a few thoughts from me on whether Project Cars 3 is in fact truly an arcade game or not. If you've found this vaguely interesting, please do hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe away, and to be notified when new videos get uploaded, please hit the bell icon. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye.